Another UI element that you will likely use often is the QComboBox, which is a drop-down box that you've probably seen many times. You can see that I've created an instance of it already, but also notice that I have this selected method at the bottom, which is going to be our event handler, and we'll get to that in a second. However, right now our QComboBox is empty, so let's add some items to it. We can add items to a combo box by calling the addItem method, like so. Add item, and then we pass a string as an argument. Let's call this item1. Now let's add two more items, so I'm just going to copy paste this code. And this item2 and item3. And if we run the application, we see our drop down, and we see our three items are there, just as we told them to be. Now, there is a shorter way for us to add items, and this is especially useful if you have lots of items to add to your QComboBox. Instead of using addItem method, we can use addItems with an S at the end. And this method takes a list of strings as an argument. So we can pass item1, item2, and finally item3. If I run the application now, you see that we have the same results as the ones we had before. Obviously, we also want to see what is currently selected, and in that respect, we can check both for the text that's currently selected, but also the index of that current selection, or the position of the item that is selected in the combo box. As such, anytime we change the selection in our combo box, there's going to be an event called currentIndexChanged that is fired. So let's connect that event to our handler here at the bottom. I'll just say self.combobox.currentIndexChanged.connect self.selected. Get rid of the parentheses at the end. And in our selected method, we're going to check and see what is the currently selected text and also what is the currently selected index. Let's create two variables. The first one will be called currentText, and to obtain it we just call self.combobox.currentText, and we'll also have the current index. To get that, as you might assume, we call the current index. Now, since this returns an integer, I'm going to wrap this with a string so that I can convert it to a string, because we're going to print it both in one line. Let's print it to the Python console. We'll say current text at the index current index. Now, if I run the application, nothing happens. But why? Well, it doesn't happen because the current index has not been changed yet. The application has just initialized. If I change the current index and select, for example, item 2, we see that it says item 2 at index 1. Indices are 0 based, just like lists. So actually the first element in the dropdown, which in this case would be item 1, is at index number 0. Item 3 respectively would be an index number 2.